Hi, welcome back to Mr. Slover's Math. Today we're going to talk about solving an equation using the quadratic formula. So here's our warm-up. I'm asking you to evaluate the boundary expressions. So I tell you that x is 1 and y is 5. You need to plug that in where you see x and where you see y and then simplify. Same thing on letter B, but this time I'm asking you to plug in z is 5. So z squared, so 5 squared minus 4. Get 25 minus 4 is 21. So the quadratic formula comes from completing the square on a standard form equation where a is not 0. The formula can be used for any quadratic equation. So a quadratic equation, remember, looks just like this. We may not have seen this a whole lot, but it's saying that it has the same letter and a power of 2 and then a power of 1 and then just a constant. So that's what we're going to be looking for in purposes of this class. Here's our formula. I'm going to give you the formula so you don't have to remember it. The only change that I make from here to some of my examples is instead of a negative b, I use a negative 1. Okay, that's the only change, and I'll explain why I did that down here. So my formula says negative b, and then it's got this funky symbol that we may not have seen before. It says, it looks like a plus and a minus sign, because that's what it is. It's saying negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So that means we're doing minus 4 times a times c. And we're dividing all of that by 2 times a. So once again, this symbol here right in the center is a plus or a minus. It's shorthand. Instead of writing two different equations or two different numbers, mathematicians use a plus or a minus. So you're going to see that today and then on your homework as well. So there's nothing for you to do. You're just going to watch. We're going to identify the A, B, and the C. So I color-coded our A, B, and our C. So the A is the number in front of the x squared. So if there is no number, it's a 1. So in this case, there's no coefficient, so it's a 1. Or no printed coefficient. And the middle term is a coefficient is a 2. And then the last one is a negative 3. Now notice I have a note that I got to take the minus sign with it. It's not just positive 3, it's negative 3. So I identified A, B, and C. Then I'm going to plug it into the formula. So once again, I'm giving you that formula. Now here's the slight change from what I have. So up here it says negative b, but over here I have negative 1. The reason I have negative 1 is because if I have a negative b, some students think that, oh, well, it's already negative, so I just have to put in the 3. It's not really what it's saying. Another way to think about this is the opposite of b. So negative b, the opposite of whatever b was. So in order to remedy that potential mistake, I'm rewriting this as, instead of negative b, I'm saying negative 1 times b. So negative 1 times b, where I identified b as 2, so I just plugged it in. There's b again. There was a, there was c, and then there was a. So all I'm doing is plugging in my information into the formula. Now I'm simplifying the equation. We've done simplifying a whole bunch of times. And I'm fine if you use your calculator. So negative 1 times 2. 2 squared. 4 times 1 times negative 3. Minus minus becomes a positive. So 4 plus 12 gave me 16. So that was step 4, combining what's under the radical, aka what's under the square root. And then I take the square root of 16. Now here's the new part. You haven't seen this before, and this is what I was talking about with the plus or the minus sign. It's shorthand. One of them means addition. One of them means subtraction. So I'm going to do negative 2 plus 4 over 2 and negative 2 minus 4 over 2. And then I'm going to simplify to get x is 1 and x is negative 3. Okay, so yes, there's There's several steps. It's very easy to make mistakes, but let's break it into manageable pieces. Let's identify A, B, and C. Once we do that, let's plug it into our equation. Once we do that, let's start to simplify. And really, if you wanted to, you could plug everything in under the square root at one time. Right? Just make sure that you're using your calculator correctly and you're plugging in the correct information. So that's my caution on that part. And then here are just two examples. So the first one, I kind of give you some guidance as to where you're going. And then down here, you're starting to do more of it on your own without my assistance. So we're identifying the A, B, and the C. So the A is 2, the B is 3, the C is -9. So identify that, and then I'm plugging it in. And once again, I talked about how here I have negative B, but over here I have a -1 times B. I don't care which one you use. I just found that students have more success when they take -1 times B. So -1 times B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C. Plug it all in, start simplifying using my calculator. Square root of 81 is 9. So I end up with two solutions, just like it says, break apart into an addition and subtraction problem. Square root of 81 is 9. So -3 plus 9 over 4, and -3 minus 9 over 4. And I get my two answers. Likewise down here. So identify A is 4, B is -8. It says -8, so -8, and C is -1. Plug it in. So -1 times B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C. Now notice here I've got -8 in parentheses because I want to make sure that you get the correct answer. This isn't saying -8 squared. That means -8 times -8. You should know when you multiply two negatives, you get a positive. However, your calculator may read it differently and may say that -8 squared is -64. You know that's not true. -8 squared, -8 times -8 is positive 64. And then -4 times 4 times -1 is positive 16, and I get root 80. Now, root 80 is not a perfect square. So your calculator may spit out 4 root 5. It may just leave it as root 80. That's fine. I don't care which one you have. From there, though, you still need to state your two different answers, one with a plus and one with a minus. Okay? And I'm fine if you leave it just like this one, 8 minus root 80 over 8, or 8 plus root 80 over 8. It doesn't matter which one. Okay? So today you focus on finding or using the quadratic formula. You have to identify the A, B, and the C first, and then plug it in. So today is a lot of just substitution, and then using your calculator or evaluating /